Welcome back to Ron's Basement. Today we are fortunate to be joined again by our good friend, Coin Shop Chris. We're going to talk about a variety of subjects, things that are going on that all impact the silver and gold market. But then Chris is going to share with us some insights into what he's seen on the retail side of the precious metals market. What's the availability of silver and gold for everyday people like you and me? Chris, welcome back to Ron's Basement.
Well, I was glad to be here, Ron.
Hey, we're always very interested to get your point of view and insights on things. You know, there's been a lot going on in the banking sector over the last few weeks. The more I read, the more it sounds like this mini banking crisis, as I'm hearing some people refer to it, that it may not be over, that there may be more to come. Do you have any thoughts on that subject, Chris?
Well, I'm not an expert on the banks, but I don't believe Janet Yellen for one moment saying everything's hunky-dory. We got Deutsche Bank now. Looks like it's going to have problems. They're just giving too much money to these banks. It's hard for me to say which banks are going to go down next. I think you're going to see a lot of smaller banks closing up.
Yeah, I think there's well, two things I'll add to what you said is, what does it mean when over and over we're hearing people like Janet Yellen and the CEO of Citibank and JP Morgan saying, don't worry, guys, don't worry, everything's fine, everything's great. You know, they even brought out President Biden last Monday to tell us everything's fine, everything's great. But you know what, Chris, I read something just today, a report that came out from, I think it was NYU, a big university, where they basically said there's still like $1.7 trillion worth of unrealized losses on these banks' books. And it pointed out that of the $17 trillion that are in deposits at banks in the United States, out of that 17 trillion, 7 trillion of that is not covered under the current FDIC insurance level. So that if those people decide they want to, you know, move their money to get it into a more safe vehicle, that things could get worse.
Things can get very, very worse. I saw an article last week, or maybe it was this past week. People have pulled out $100 billion, what it be, from the banks.
Wow.
What are people doing with that money? They're buying silver. They're buying gold. They're holding on to their cash. They're taking it out of the banks. When the government tells you to do something, you want to do the opposite. Banks are not safe.
No, and yeah, it's interesting. I've said before that as things get, you know, as the economy gets more screwed up, as the system gets more screwed up, the menu of attractive investment options begins to narrow and narrow. And it's funny, it's almost like that, you know, the money pyramid that we both are familiar with. It narrows down more and more towards silver and gold as appearing to be attractive investments.
And that's right. I'm seeing, you know, people coming in and they're spending $5,000 a whack.
Wow.
It's crazy. People are coming in and saying they're scared. That's when I turn them to the junk silver or 90% silver, constitutional silver, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to offend anybody on your channel here, but I'm more like, you know, if you think all heck's gonna break loose, go with the 90%. But we can't find 90%. We can't keep 90%. Nobody has it. SD Bullion's out. Most of these big online dealers are out, and the prices. Go ahead.
You're seeing people come in that are scared, and I just want to let everybody know you do work in a retail bullion coin shop. You want to keep your anonymity because you don't want to be flooded with calls and business. because you don't do shipping or anything like that. So you're not trying to sell anybody anything. We're going to say that every time you're on my show. Chris is not trying to sell anybody anything, just giving us his opinion. And what you're telling me is you're seeing people, you're sensing that more and more people are kind of scared.
Well, let me put it this way. I have football players that come in for the National Football League. I have baseball players, Major League Baseball players. I will not say the team. I will not say the name of the person, but I will say I had someone email me today. He's looking to drop $300,000 into gold in silver.
Wow.
Big money is pouring in. And
big money.
We are a small coin shop.
And there's not a lot out there. I mean, are you seeing, I mean, it seems like, I know I'm hearing that some of the big online retailers are having 1, 2, even 3 week shipping delays. When I look at the websites, there's some silver out there. I don't really check for gold, but there's not as much silver available as there was 3 or 4 weeks ago.
We are looking at some items we are looking at on Maples right now. Maples we are fine on. Eagles, I do not know what's going on the US Mint. I can get most of anything right now. It's just about 2 weeks out for a lot of stuff. The round's about 2 weeks out. SD Bullion, I'm hearing they're 20 days behind. And
Wow.
they normally ship within 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
I just can't keep stuff in stock. I get it in, it's gone.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, it's, you know, I am not like you said, I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. We're going to say that every time is right. But, you know, I am lost for words. This is worse than the cough, the surge on the cough.
Is it really?
It's worse. People are scared. They don't know where to put their unicorn fought dust dollars.
Yeah, well, you know, and I was thinking about this earlier. It's like it was bad enough to be sitting on paper money. I don't have any cash down here with me to use as a prop, but it's bad enough to be, you know, sitting on a wad of cash, let's call it. But now, you know, if you have it in the bank, in some ways, it's understandable that it's even worse, right? I mean, it's bad enough to have cash because your paper money is losing value. But if it's in the bank, people are scared.
Well, why would you leave it in the bank anyways? You're not making anything in the bank on a regular checking account.
Right.
So why would you leave it in the bank for? Yes, you need money in the bank to pay your bills. We all need money in the bank to pay your bills. What I am saying is any extra money you might have, pull it out at least. And, you know, it's safer underneath your mattress than it's in the bank.
Right, right. Let's talk about the price. I think silver this week was up about $1 an ounce, if I remember correctly, about 4 or 5%. What do you think about this current $23 silver price? And then I have an interesting point I want to bring up in that regard.
Well, we're looking at 23.50, 23.22 the last time I looked at it. It did get up to 23.70, I believe it was this week, and it backed off from there. I think next week we could see 24. This week coming up, we could see 24. We could see another dollar rise, up to $1 rise. We could see right up to 2,000 again. I don't have a crystal ball. You don't have a crystal ball, Ron. Nobody knows.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think a lot of it's going to have to do with what goes on with this banking crisis. We know, I think it seemed later last week that it started to percolate even more over in Europe with Deutsche Bank and obviously the Credit Suisse situation. But what happens here in the US, and how can I say this? There is a problem, a big problem in the banking sector. I think what it's going to come down to in the US is confidence, right? If people lose confidence, in the banks and start to pull. The banks are fine until people want to take their money out, which doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, a bank should be fine if people want to take their money out. But the reality is, for right now, the banks are only fine as long as nobody wants to take their money out. And so I think it's going to depend on how that plays out. Does that sound reasonable to you?
That sounds very reasonable. It's, if we all went to the banks Monday morning, Tuesday morning, someone's not going to get their cash. They don't have it.
Right.
I'm a strong believer. You don't hold it, you don't own it. I know some people don't like that comment. But when people come into the shop, they are scared.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do.
Right.
And we're not financial advisors. We can't say, well, buy gold, buy silver, buy this. What we try to do is what they're most concerned about and direct them what type of metal to get into.
Right.
Overall, I'm a silver guy. Overall, I see, I'm going to use a line from Andy Scheckman. You want to be in gold eventually. That's where you want to put your money. You can always trade for gold later. So why not start with small amounts of silver? Then we get people come in and, well, how much silver do I need? That question is hard to answer for anybody. What I come up with is people might want to grab a quick notepad, pause the video for a minute and grab a notepad, add up all your bills, divide that by spot price, whatever spot price is, add 3 to 5% for emergencies, add another 3 to 5% for inflation. You can go up to 8%. It's closer to 8%. Add all that up, divide that by spot price. That is how, and times that by 18 months. And you're looking at, probably most people should have family of 4 for 18 months. You might want to have about 1,800 ounces of silver.
Right.
For that time span. You want to go longer, add 100 ounces for every month. It just depends on how much people spend. Some people don't spend $2,000 a month. Some people don't. Some people up to 4,000. It just depends on how much people spend.
Yeah.
And it's going to be different for you, Ron. It's going to be different for me.
Right.
It's that question is very hard to answer. How much silver or gold does somebody need?
Right.
I mean,
well, the one answer could be you'll never have enough.
Right? That's the best. That's the best answer because most of us don't have enough money, cash.
Right.
So that's right.
Right.
If you got an extra $10 laying around, go buy yourself a silver $50 or 5 silver dimes or 2 silver quarters. It all adds up. I cannot.
Yeah, you were joking around with me the other night, and you sent me a picture of a round you bought, and then you said you made a joke like, "Oh, I might have a problem. I can't stop buying silver." And I thought I'd joke around about being addicted to silver and whatever, but I think it's important to remember it's like when I've had a feeling after I've made some, big silver purchases over the years, over the decades now, a little bit of, self-doubt or wondering after I do it. And I always go back and just try to remember, it's like, it's not like I'm buying something. It's more like I'm converting from paper to something real. And in any remorse I've ever felt is always faded away very quickly. And I've always over the years kind of felt secure and just a good gut feeling when I've thought about the amount of silver that I've bought over the years.
Ron, you hit that right on the head. That's a bingo, blackout bingo. You won the jackpot there. By saying that.
Well, you're my new best friend in saying stuff like that, right?
That's how I actually tell my grandmother is you're not buying nothing, you're converting it into real money.
Yeah. It feels like it feels like we're buying it. It feels like, I think we've been we're so used to equating value with that paper money. I mean, I'm 53 years old. I've spent 53 years of learning or teaching by all of society that paper is valuable. So when I take it and I go to a coin shop, I feel like I'm buying something, but I'm really not. I'm actually converting it into something else, and something that's actually better. But you know, there's a lot of internal noise, I think, sometimes to deal with, if that makes sense.
First Mining Gold is a development company advancing two of the largest gold projects in Canada, Springpole in Ontario and Duparquet, located in Quebec. Each already has 5 million ounces of gold reserves, but exploration initiatives are underway at both projects to find even more gold. First Mining is well financed, has zero debt, and owns an interest in 4 additional Canadian gold development projects.
Well, yeah, and you were talking about that round I got. You know, I paid $31.03 for that round. My limit is, me personally, I won't spend no more than $30 on a round. You know, people will say, "Oh, you only spend $1.03 more." Well, yeah, I mean, cost averaging, fine. Some I get less, way less than $30 still. You know, some you got to cost average. Get, you know, for the new stackers out there, get the cheapest you can. My recommendation is don't buy the graded coins if you're a new stacker. Eventually, if you want to get some graded coins, that's fine. It's about the ounces. The more you can stack now at a cheaper price, you're going to be better off in the long run. Now, for the most expert stacker out there, I mean, people have a mix of stuff. It's good to have a mix of everything. I look at it as, why am I going to spend $10 to $15 on an MS69 graded Eagle? It don't make sense, because if you buy a brand new tubes of Eagles anyways, you send them for grading, you're probably going to get 15 to 18 of those graded in MS69 anyways. They're already MS69. They're just not graded that way.
Right.
You know, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do, but if you're brand new to stacking, get the cheapest thing possible.
Yeah, and make sure it's the real McCoy. Make sure it's
That's
genuine
right.
silver. Get it from a trustworthy source. And yeah, the most important thing is the number of ounces. I'm going to shift gears here quickly because I want to get your opinion on something else. I don't know if you followed the news last week, and it wasn't really reported extensively here in the United States, but China's President Xi went to Russia and met with Vladimir Putin, and they signed all types of agreements. They agreed that Russia would sell oil in Chinese yuan. They agreed that the BRICS countries would trade in Chinese yuan. We also got news that both China and Russia this year have both been adding to the amount of gold at their central banks. When you look out at the big picture, right? I mean, we can go from the coin shop to the whole world, but do you buy off on this notion that the world is splitting, and that that these Eastern countries, these BRICS countries, the Middle East, that they put a higher value on silver and gold than maybe we do here in the West?
Absolutely. I mean, if we just back up to 2008, I'll refer to the movie of Too Big to Fail. When Henry Paulson and Ben Bernanke, right? His name was, China threatened to call Russia up, and when we had problems with Freddie Mac, they had a lot of stocks in those two companies. They can take the whole system down between Russia and China with a phone call. I'm hearing that Russia has their own new gold exchange. That could put the price up. Is that going to put the price up here? We don't know yet. But most of us know, I don't know if we all know, but what makes the dollar tick? I'll use another line from Andy Scheckman. Oil. If these other countries start going into buying oil in other currencies, gold, silver, whatnot, dollars done. Dollars are coming home, and we're going in hyperinflation, and nobody, and I mean nobody, who does not have silver and gold are not going to afford to find nothing. Buy nothing.
Well,
excuse me.
it appears that that is the case, that there are some legitimate movements now to sell oil in currencies other than the dollar. I think Saudi Arabia even announced it like 6 weeks ago that they're willing to sell oil in currencies other than the US dollar. And I don't think the average American, I don't think 98 or 99 out of 100 realize what serious implications that could have, like you just said, for the US dollar.
That's true. I mean, when these dollars come flying home, we're going in a hyperinflation. I'll repeat the same thing I just said. I mean, it's gonna be. I'm so fired up when you say that, Ron. It's gonna be. Nobody's gonna have a job.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna have a job.
Yeah. And the other thing, and go ahead. I'm sorry.
We don't make anything here no more. We can't even make the American flag here. That's made in Dragon country. We can't make car parts. We cannot make anything here. We can't even make an Oreo cookie here. Oreo cookies are made in Mexico.
I didn't know that.
So, I mean, what do we make here? I mean, most people live in this city. They can't have a garden. They can't grow their own food. We're so relied on the dollar, and the school system is horrible. I hate to say that. The school system has trained us about the dollar, and that is it. The dollar, but they don't talk about silver and gold.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. And the other thing to remember with this petrodollars, what we're talking about is, since the 70s, all oil was basically sold in dollars. And what that meant was then Saudi Arabia, and even China, but China wasn't selling oil. China was selling us a bunch of cheap stuff, but they were doing that in dollars. When we were, what that made happen was Saudi Arabia had a bunch of dollars. China would have a ton of dollars, right, from all the Walmart stuff that they'd sold to the United States. What did they do with those dollars? They bought US Treasuries. That allowed the US government to run these huge deficits, right? So That's going to come to an end as well. America had lived beyond its means for decades, right? Because those countries, they didn't have anything else to do with those dollars. So, they would buy US Treasuries. Yeah, it could get really interesting really quick.
And once China and Russia sells those treasuries off, we're done for.
Yeah.
I hate to be that blunt. But
let me throw this in. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what about if, to circle back to what we started talking about, what if people then start going to the banks and saying, well, I'm going to get my money out of the bank? What the banks are going to have to do at that point? They're going to have to sell all the treasuries that they own. And if the banks are selling treasuries or Russia and China are selling treasuries, that it could just be very ugly, very ugly. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Don't be sorry, Ron. You are awesome. I watch you. We talk on the phone. I don't watch too many other YouTube channels. And I know this is late saying this in the video here. Please like, subscribe, and share this. Get this information out. Ron is a good guy. He might be in the basement, but he's a good guy.
I'm the best guy in this basement right now, right?
You're the only guy.
And don't forget to put Coin Shop Chris in your will, right? I'll throw that in for you.
No,
because
nobody needs to leave me in the will.
he's not trying to sell you anything. I don't think I
No.
am either. I don't know. Well, I got some. Where is it? Oh, I've got a coffee mug back there on the ping pong table. I think I sold 3 of them so far. So, and anyway,
Susie's not behind you though.
no, Susie's not running. So what's your read on the supply situation? You know, I know you're often buying a lot of inventory. Is it getting hard to find, Chris? What's your?
It's getting hard. I would say inventory is low to mid range. It's not abundant out there right now. Like I've said, I think this is worse than the cough. It's drying up. I cannot get 5-ounce bars. I cannot get the 1-ounce bars. I'm having a hard time getting the 10-ounce ones. Maples, fine, no problem with the maples. South Cougarans, can't get them right now. Australian stuff, no problems right now. U.S. mint, problem after problem, cannot get it. I was lucky to get ordered 5 monster boxes last week. They're coming in Tuesday, and I got pre-orders. Half of them are gone. So
Wow.
I mean, they're just gone. I mean, the half, 2.5 monster boxes in a week, and I don't even have them in yet.
Wow. And you mentioned something in a previous conversation we had, and we don't know if this was a mistake or a fluke, but there was one of the online retailers was silver rounds, and their price, if you bought fewer, was lower, and if you bought a greater number, it was actually higher. It was almost like they were trying to discourage people from buying a lot. Is that an accurate statement?
I have never seen that from Liberty Coins. I will call them out. I love that company to death.
Yeah, I know you love Liberty Coins.
Quick. If somebody's really looking for a good online dealer, I don't have no link. I don't make a dime. Trust me, I don't make a dime off Liberty's coins at all.
Yeah, I want to interject. I will say Chris has always spoke very highly about Liberty Coins. I've never personally bought anything from them, but Chris has always spoke very highly about Liberty Coins, and we aren't sponsored by them, and we don't have a link. You can tell them you heard about it from Coin Shop Chris and Ron's Basement if you like. But anyway, we have no vested interest. I'm just going to tell you that Chris, that's a company that comes up in high regard from Chris on a regular basis. And I'm going to say this: Chris will say he's not an expert, which to me makes him even more of an expert because he's humble and knows that he always has more to learn. But Chris knows a lot about buying and selling precious metals.
Well, I appreciate that, Ron. But again, to all you viewers out there, I am no expert. I am just trying, we go back to that Liberty Coin. I have never seen him do that. I don't know if it's a glitch, buy more, pay more. But I would say this, the Cook Islands on Liberty, this is Saturday night recording this, excuse me. We're recording this video, and I seen Pinehurst for basic rounds. They're more money than monetary value Cook Island coins on eBay. Never seen that rounds more than a monetary value coin, meaning it has $1 face value on the coin.
You mean sovereign coins made by by a mint?
Right, by a mint. I never seen them less. Yes, they're two different companies. You just don't see that. I don't know if Liberty just got a good deal on those when they got them, and just trying to pass it on. I recently bought from Pinehurst, excuse me, everybody, tongue-tied, $500 for rounds. They're up to $554. And
wow.
March 13th and 14th, I got them for $500 and 9 cents a round for tube. They're up to $554 since the 14th and 13th of this month. That's how fast these prices are going up. The premiums are going up. The silver price has gone up in the past week and a half. It's crazy. If
Wow.
you're going to buy, you might want to start buying now. And that's where I'll leave it. You know, I'm not telling anybody to buy, but if you're going to buy, you may want to think about buying some now. Cost average it out. If it dips a little bit more, and if you can afford to, buy a little bit more.
Yeah,
But-
cost average it. I think that's good advice. Since none of us does have a crystal ball, right? If you've got, you know, X amount, maybe divide it by 4 and buy it over a 4-month period, buy a quarter of it 1 month, a quarter of it the next month, a quarter of it the third, and then the final quarter the 4th month. Or you can take the risk, right? I mean, who knows? You and I may be talking 6 weeks from now, and we have $30 silver, right?
Right.
But, and we both hope this isn't the case, we could be talking 6 weeks from now and we could have $18 silver. So, you know, it just kind of depends. If you buy it all in one fell swoop, you know, it's either going to work out real good for you, or you might be licking your wounds in the future. But that's really kind of up to the individual how they want to approach it, I guess.
And another point, I want look where we were just a few weeks back ago. More than a few weeks. We were at $18. We're at 23 now plus.
Yeah. Oh, you know,
that's a big jump.
Yeah, that's a big jump. And I almost forgot to bring this up. Very interesting. I saw it on Twitter and I thought I took a screenshot, so I can't give credit to who brought this up, but somebody had a great tweet on Twitter about how let's just say we're at $2,000 gold. We hit 2,000 a couple times this week. We're at $2,000 gold. And they compared the last like 3 times that gold got to $2,000, and silver was at $30, $32, $31, $50, and I think like $35, right? I mean, like, and now we're at $2,000 gold, and silver is at $23. I mean, relatively speaking, based on even recent history, well, it even brought up, you know, I mean, at one point silver was at $50. I think it was 2011. Didn't gold get up around 2000 back at that point as well? That relatively speaking, on recent history, we're like vastly undervalued silver.
Very undervalued. Silver is the most undervalued asset around. I would not, me personally, I don't want to say I don't like gold. I'm more of a silver bug. You can always trade silver in for gold for later. Why buy gold at $2,000 an ounce when you can get ounces of silver for 23? If the ratio drops, if we get back to the 50-1, 40-1, then I'll be all jumping in to trade that silver in for gold at that point.
Yeah, you know, somebody on the channel made a comment. They said, you know, they always, anytime they go to buy an ounce of gold, they think about the fact that they can get almost 100 ounces of silver for the same price, or 85 ounces, whatever it is right now.
87 and a half, I believe it is right now.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, and I don't know, I don't have any gold bullion, right? And that's why, because I'm a value oriented person, and I happen to love silver. I mean, I guess I never really had gold coins around, but I love silver. But when I think about like going to the coin shop and getting 1 ounce of gold, maybe I should try it sometime. I'll save up some money, but or walking out of there with, you know, what, 4 tubes of Kruger ants. I don't know, man. The 4 tubes of Kruger ants seem like a lot more fun to me.
Exactly. And you know, you gotta look at it this way. It depends, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Are you gonna buy another house? Are you
No,
looking
no, no,
for?
Chris, we already established that. We're gonna have an RV and we're gonna drive around the country and visit all these people that are listening to us right now.
That's right. We're gonna get Ron's basement RVs, and the beer will be on the back. And we're gonna have one side of it gold, one side of it silver, and we're gonna have Ron's face on the hood.
Well, the hood will be made out of copper or platinum. We'll do that for our friend Neil.
Neil, yes.
We'll have a solid platinum hood put on that thing. Sorry, I interrupted you. You were talking about where we see ourselves in 10 years.
You know, if we see ourselves in 10 years, is anybody gonna buy a house in 10 years? Buy a vehicle in the next 5 years? If not, why are we putting the money into gold right now? We can convert it later. You know, if the ratio, like I said, if the ratio drops, you can turn it in. You can turn it in anytime you want to. Yes, silver is heavier, it's bulkier. Silver is good for everyday items. Gold is great for a big purchase. You can also use silver as a big purchase. So, I mean, me, from myself, I'm not going to buy a house in 10 years, 15 years. My car, it's 2012. It's got 53,000 miles on it. I'm not in the market for a car right now. So with that being said, you know, we don't spend a lot of money. So,
Right.
I mean, you know, when I go to grocery store, it's $50 here, $30 here. I buy stuff when it's on sale.
Right.
So,
Right.
and that's where my bills are. And
Yeah,
everybody's going to be in a different boat.
I eat cracked corn every day. That's chicken feed. Yeah, you know, I think you get to a point in life where, you know, I think we have a 2005 Acura that I drive that we've had since it was brand new, has 115,000 miles on it. I still love it, you know, to me. And I think, you know, sure, you know, getting a new car, I'm like, oh, this is nice. But, you know, it's like you go drop 40K or 50K on a nice new car. And you know what? In a year, you're not enjoying that any more than you would a car that's 15 years old. I mean, it's kind of, to me, I think you get a little bit older, and you know, you and I talked about this, or maybe I talked about it, so I think we talked about it. But you know, when I look at, like, we talk about, like, well, you joked around the other day about, oh, I can't stop buying silver, I can't, and I said to you, I said, well, you know, you could have been sitting in a bar all night and easily spent $30, maybe spent more like two ounces of silver. We could be out spending $100 playing golf 2 days a week. You know, I think we I don't know, we're the type of people, and I think a lot of the people watching us right now are the type of people that would rather have the metal.
And your viewers are smart viewers. I read the comments, Ron. People that watch you are smart.
Yeah.
And we love every one of the comments. And if somebody can leave one comment on, you know, leave one comment and comment on someone else's, that will help. Let's all learn together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know it all. Ron don't know it all. You know, I learn from the comments. You know, my one question is, you know, there was somebody in Kansas, Kentucky keeps updating us on the maple price, which is awesome. What are your prices out there? I want to know what right now. Shop I work for, we're at 29.5 for maples. What is everybody else saying? That's, you know, I love reading the comments on your channel, Ron. You know, you got a lot of good people on there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm very fortunate to have some really great people. I got an email tonight from a guy named Norm. I don't think he'd mind that I use his first name. He's 92 years old, and he invests in mining stocks and in the metals. And I mean, this guy wrote me like a 3-paragraph email, and it was like full of good comments and wisdom, right? And I agree with you. I've always said that, like, my channel doesn't really, doesn't appeal to most people, because most people don't care to, how do I say it? I don't know, challenge, I don't say challenge themselves, but I think a lot of people don't care to challenge themselves. A lot of people don't care to kind of dig in the dirt and want to analyze and figure out what's really going on out there. And that's okay, right? Like I know that that it's a smaller segment of the population, but they are very smart people. I mean, I've met a number of them in person over the years, very smart people, successful people. And another common attribute that I know is true is very good quality, nice, honest people, like people that I would love to have as neighbors, type people.
Exactly. I mean, I'm just overwhelmed that I get some recognition. I'm just a peon. Ron's not gonna like that me saying it. I'm just a peon, guys. But I appreciate the feedback that I get.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna hear my voice on any other channel. You're not gonna see me have my own YouTube channel. I'm exclusively to Ron's Basement. I promise him that. You're not gonna see me anywhere else.
But he's not allowed to call himself a peon anymore, right, guys? Tell him that in the comment section below. His name is Coin Shop Chris. He is not allowed to call himself a peon. We're gonna start. We're gonna have a peon penalty. Not allowed. No, we all learn from each other, and I think the smartest people in the world are people who realize that they're not that smart, that they don't know everything. And that the only way we learn is by either reading, which is basically listening to somebody, or listening to somebody, and being open to other people's opinions, right, and other ideas. Because if we just try to figure, I know, trust me, if I just try to figure everything out in my head, it usually doesn't work out so well. And I've learned a ton as well from some really smart people that have left some great comments over the last, I guess, 14, 15 months now.
It's been awesome. I cannot say that enough. I mean, I enjoy reading the comments. If you guys got questions for me and want to reach out to me, you can reach out to Ron in his email, and Ron will give you my email address.
Yep.
Give me a couple days to get back to you. I might need a couple days. I'm normally in the comments a lot. I can answer questions there too. I got no problems helping anybody out.
Yeah, same here. I make it a point to respond to every email I get, and my email's always in the description of every video. And I'm happy to pass info along to Chris as well. Chris has been a critical part of the channel, and I know on behalf of a lot of the viewers, we all thank him. Chris, anything else before we wrap up, my friend?
I just wanted to confirm that Ron does email back. He has emailed. We've been talking about 6 months, you would say, Ron.
Yeah.
And
feels like 6 years.
6 years too long, maybe, right?
6 months.
Ron does get back to people. So I mean,
and I'll never WhatsApp. I'll never WhatsApp. For those of you that are still with us at this point, never in the comments. If you see there's a lot of imposters and fraud that goes on YouTube in the comment section, the only way, I'll never say contact me on WhatsApp. If you want to get in touch with me, do it via email.
That's right. And
Ron's Basement Silver @gmail.com.
And Susie's is in the description too.
Yeah, if you want to complain about me, send an email to Susie. She trust me, she loves those. So all right, buddy. Thank you.
You're welcome, Ron. Thank you very much.
And we'll see everybody. We'll have Chris back on in the next week or two. Everybody take care. We appreciate everything that this community is doing, and we'll see you soon.